This is David Peace Monroe, Marilyn Monroe's nephew. The Marilyn Monroe Show on Jess TV in Lethbridge, Canada, a tremendous project with global distribution. You can pick us up on Apple TV, Fire TV, Android TV, Roku TV, SSH 101, and the NCT Television Network in Lethbridge, Canada, a tremendous project with global distribution. I am the nephew of Marilyn Monroe, actress soundtrack, and I am also the grandson of Jack Stubbs, prolific, pioneering, Hall of Fame, legendary motion picture director, Walt Disney's right-hand man, and Elisabeth Taylor's booking agent and talent manager, as well as Mickey Rooney's booking agent and talent manager. And today on the Marilyn Monroe Show, I'm proud to introduce our fabulous producer, Anita Waggoner. Anita Waggoner lived a Western life all her life, and she worked for the PBR Rodeo. She had a big cattle ranch and raised bulls on a 3,400-acre ranch in Oklahoma, raising bulls and stocking bulls, a stock contractor for the PBR and professional bull riders. And so Anita is the author of 5 acclaimed books: Freedom, Echoes of Freedom, Dakota Wells, The Gambler, The Ranch at Coyote Ridge, all available on Amazon. And each of her novels are grounded in authentic Western experiences, and Anita has adapted all of them into screenplays. The novel Freedom and its screenplay are based on Anita's true story of her life in Oklahoma, where she raised rodeo bulls and managed a 3,400-acre ranch. Her writing preserves the spirit of independence and perseverance that defines the Western lifestyle. And Anita is a producer. She has an upcoming biopic family perspective film about her life entitled Freedom. She's also gotten the governor of Oklahoma to proclaim Freedom Day in Freedom, Oklahoma. That's going to be honored on March 22nd of 2025. And they're going to have a little rodeo down there on Freedom Day on March 22nd, 2025 in Freedom, Oklahoma. And so Anita's fabulous. I've known Anita for a couple of years. We've been working together. She does the iHeart Radio show that you can tune into. She talks, to bull riders, all kinds of inspirational people come on her radio show. She's absolutely fabulous. And we're going to talk about her biopic family perspective film, Freedom. Here's Anita Waggoner, folks.
Hi, good morning, David. Thank you for having me. You covered a lot of territory there. Let's see, I'm kind of speechless now. You want to talk about my film Freedom? We can do that. Based on my true story. I left the life in the city after a divorce, married 20 years, went through a divorce, and I met a cowboy at the National Final Rodeo in Las Vegas. He was from Oklahoma. He invited me to come visit him on his Freedom Ranch. I accepted the invitation. I went and ended up staying there for 13 years. And he got me involved in the bull business, although it was kind of a family tradition with me. My grandfather was a well-known stock contractor from the Pacific Northwest. Leo Muma was his name. He started the famous Omax Stampede and Suicide Race. Some of your people might be familiar with that. But for me to step back in time kind of, and relive a life with the cowboy that I had known when I was a young girl was kind of an easy thing for me to do. And, as time went on, I wrote the book. After I left there, I wrote the book Freedom. I was there 13 years, wrote the book Freedom. A few years later, started writing the screenplay. And, it's evolved. The script itself has been winning all kinds of awards. And right now we're at a point where we're just waiting for someone to partner with us for funding. And then we can take this wonderful story to the big screen.
Yeah, that's absolutely fabulous. So 13 years you were out there on a 3,400-acre ranch, Oklahoma. You got the cowboy partner running the guest lodge, supplying top-tier bulls to rodeos nationwide. you got a family legacy in ranching and rodeo, inspired by the true story of your award-winning screenplay and novel Freedom. So that's absolutely fabulous. Um, celebrating culture. You've got a passion for storytelling. It extends beyond the page to the airwaves. On your radio show, your iHeart radio show. You want to talk about the radio show a little bit that you do every week?
Yeah, I sure do. I would say it's about a year ago on LinkedIn, that old LinkedIn. I was introduced to a man named Russ Stevenson, who has been broadcasting radio shows for many years.
Yeah.
And he approached me about doing a Western themed radio show.
Yeah.
And we decided we would focus on the themes of freedom, independence, living life authentically. And we've had about 8 shows now. They're proving to be a huge success. This last weekend, we interviewed country western singer Joni Harms. That was a great interview. We had a reenactor that works with a group called the Wickenburg Marshals that's from Wickenburg, Arizona. He described what it's like to be involved in reenacting the old Western traditional scenes. And then we had a retired bullfighter rodeo clown from Missouri, who told some great rodeo stories. I love the Western way of life, so this theme of that radio show just fits right in with who I am and what my values stand for.
That's great. I hang out with some cowboys out here in the San Fernando Valley, Mexican guys from Mexico.
Yeah.
They have a rodeo out here in the Imperial Valley down by San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
And, those guys are tough as nails,
They are.
I've seen some of their videos. And so they said, Dave, you want to come out here and be a rodeo clown? You're a stuntman. Come on out here and be a rodeo clown, bounce around a couple of these bulls out here.
Yeah, it takes a little more than that. The rodeo clown had some advice. He said, if you're going to be a rodeo clown or a bullfighter, you need to work in a feedlot and get in those pens with some of those wild cows and bulls, and you're going to learn how to run pretty fast and get out of their way.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. Excuse me. So each one of your episodes resonates with themes of authenticity, resilience, and the enduring values of the Western way of life on
That's
your
right.
radio show. Yeah. And your vision brought freedom to life as a celebration of the Western way of life. So on March 22nd, 2025, Freedom Day will take place in Freedom, Oklahoma. Officially proclaimed by the governor, and that was due to your influence and facilitation process. Get the governor to agree to this National Freedom Day in the state of Oklahoma.
Yeah, let me tell you a little bit about that. My co-host, Russ Stevenson, he's pretty, he's a thinker, so he came up with that idea. He says, Anita, we need to contact the Oklahoma governor. That's where your story took place, in that little town of Freedom, Oklahoma. We need to bring it all together, and especially with the way life is going right now with the changes in our politics and all that. He said, get in touch with that governor. He suggested it, so I can't take all the credit for that. But I reached out and, like lo and behold, the governor agreed. He said, wonderful idea. We will proclaim that day, March 22nd, Freedom Day, and we'll get the little town of Freedom involved. Well, it turned out to be just a ton of work for me. I was doing all the work. It's a small town, 179 people live there. And the Chamber of Commerce, they were a little, I think, upset with me because I didn't approach them before I reached out to the governor. And so I just decided to let them do what they want to do with it. I had big visions of doing, a little old Woodstock or something out in Freedom, Oklahoma. But I'm going to let the local people take it and run with it. And I'm sure they'll still do something on March 22nd. It's a Saturday. Fun little town to visit. Nice little saloon, Cimarron Saloon, where they have the coldest beer in Northwest Oklahoma. So if you're around that area, go check out Freedom. I was there for 13 years and fell in love with it and fell out of love with it. So
I think that's absolutely fabulous. Just a quick station identification break. This is David Peace Monroe, Marilyn Monroe's nephew on the Marilyn Monroe Show on Jess TV in Lethbridge, Canada. Tremendous project for global distribution. You can tune in Apple TV, Fire TV, Android TV, SSH 101, NCG Television Network, and Roku TV. Lethbridge, Canada, www.jessfm.ca or www.jessfm.ca. Okay, and so you've got that day, and then I want to talk about your writings, your book, your award-winning screenplay. Your screenplays bring the heart of the Western way of life to the big screen. So your screenplay Freedom's won awards at film festivals, every film festival it's entered, capturing audiences with its authentic portrayal of the ranch lifestyle and resilience. The film, your film's in development. So you have an actress, Lisa Varga, and your director is going to be Tane McClure, which is the daughter of Western actor Doug McClure.
Yes, Tawny is her name, Tawny McClure.
Oh, is it Tawny? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I said Tane, Tawny.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
it's pronounced Tawny. Okay,
Tawny.
great. And so the project integrates Western influence from rodeo and bull riding, ensuring its authenticity as a biopic family perspective film. Want to talk about your screenplay and a little bit more about Freedom there?
Yeah, the story itself is a lot of romance. It's my personal story. It's my involvement with the cowboy. It's the fact that I walked away from a pretty darn good life. I was in the car business. My husband and I married 20 years, and we had a really good life. We had homes in a few areas in the country. We traveled the world. We did a lot of great things. Well, the divorce sort of devastated me. And when I met that cowboy in Las Vegas, and he told me he was from a place called Freedom, the bells went off in my head, and I thought, man, I need to go to a place like that. Yeah. And so the script itself, the story itself, is a lot about our personal trauma, drama, survivorship. I mean, just getting used to the elements, living in Oklahoma, the tornadoes, the bugs, the creatures, living on a ranch when I hadn't been around one for years. I mean, I was strictly a city girl at that point. But the story is our story. It's not so much about the town of Freedom. It's about the subject of freedom, because I went there to find my freedom, basically, and I found it in the arms of a cowboy. It's a wonderful story. People have read the books, give it great reviews, and everyone's excited to get this film out there. It'll be an award winner.
Yeah, I love it. That's red, white, and blue, baseball, apple pie, and Chevrolet.
That's true.
Yeah, I love that about that. And so your legacy in rodeo, your contribution to the rodeo world are as impactful as your storytelling. PBR stock contractor.
Yes.
And you provided bulls for the PBR, the PRCA rodeos nationwide, continuing the legacy of your was it grandfather or uncle?
Grandfather.
The grandfather, yeah. So he was a stock, and then you went into the stocking of bulls, and so you're continuing your family legacy, similar to what I'm doing with my aunt's legacy, and my family legacy. So we got a lot in common there. And that's Leo Muma was your grandfather, and so your experiences with ranching and rodeo inspired you to write these film projects, blending firsthand knowledge with the creative expression. Your contribution to the sport is, a testament to your dedication and the Western way of life. And so I want to talk a little bit more about your legacy with your grandpa and in rodeo business and PBR. You want to talk about that?
Sure, love to. Yeah, I mean, my whole family were into the rodeo. My uncles, my aunts, my mom, my cousins, everyone participated in my grandfather's rodeo business in one way or the other. As a young girl, I mean, before the rodeos, we'd have a big family gathering, a picnic in the park, so to speak. And then I remember it as being, the one time of the year that I'd get a brand new Western outfit to wear to this rodeo. It was a big deal in our family. But I grew up in Omak, Washington, very small little town where he also lived and was part of starting that rodeo. And I don't know if it's fortunately or unfortunately, I married really young in my teenage years. And so kind of got away from that, divorced early from that first marriage, and then moved to Seattle. So I totally got away from the rodeo lifestyle. But it was easy for me to go back when I met the cowboy in Las Vegas. It was like, oh my God, it's something I've been missing in my life and something I'm ready to get back to.
Right.
I love the Western way of life. I love being around the people. You know, they're they've all got these big hearts. They're all very much, you know, believers of God and just caring, loving people. I found that to be the people in Oklahoma. They just opened me with open arms. You know, welcomed me with open arms. So it's a lifestyle that everyone should experience. And I think
That's absolutely.
my movie's going to do that for the world.
Yeah, that's absolutely fabulous. You know, when I was a kid, my grandfather Jack Stubbs, he retired up in Acton, up in the high desert of Los Angeles. And so the fellow that lived adjacent to our property, Ray Taylor, he was the producer of the television show Dallas, if you remember
Okay.
that,
Oh yeah.
with J.R. Ewing. And, you know, when I was a little boy, we called him Uncle Ray. Uncle Ray had a bunch of show ponies he bought from Circus Vargas,
Wow.
from the circus. And so when I was a little kid, that's how I learned how to ride horses, was at Uncle Ray's.
That's a good story.
Yeah, producer of Dallas. Yeah, they were good friends, my grandfather. I mean, we lived right next door to each other. So, quick station identification break. David Peace Monroe, Marilyn Monroe's nephew, and the Marilyn Monroe Show on Jess TV in Lethbridge, Canada. A tremendous project with global distribution. Tune in every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. to the morning show with your host, David Peace Monroe, on Apple TV, Fire TV, Android TV, SSH 101, NCG Television Network in Lethbridge, Canada. Tremendous project with global distribution, www.jessfm.ca or jessfm.ca. So now I want to talk about seeking investors in some of these projects. And what's interesting about me as a television producer, not only as a television producer, but I also used to be a broker dealer, and you know, with the Series 7 and Series 22 license to raise money for private investments through the Security and Exchanges Commission. So I've been sitting on that talent for a while. Now I'm in a position to start raising money for films. And so you're seeking investment partners. So I can, you know, I'm working on getting a group of broker dealers together to start raising money for Hollywood, all of my films and everyone else's films that I help out. So you're seeking investment partners for freedom, you know, an opportunity to bring modern Western story to audiences worldwide. So the modern day Western film freedom, you know, has a built-in audience, appealing to fans, Western culture, rodeo, authentic storytelling. It represents a celebration of resilience and independence, offering both artistic and commercial promise. So you want to talk a little bit more
Yeah.
about the film and getting some investors to invest in this project that you know, should do well in the box office and make a profit for investors. And people will watch it and should have global distribution. This is the type of film that you can change the language, send the picture to another country, and make more money in the box office internationally. I love it. You know, Westerns,
Yeah.
and they love Westerns around the world. It's got that built-in audience. You want to talk more about that, Anita?
Oh, I sure do. I know that the cowboys have people around the world are interested in the cowboy way of life, and I know that from actual experience of having my Western Guest Ranch and Lodge in Oklahoma. We had visitors from all over the world. I mean, Spain, Germany, Australia. They came from all over, and they came there to, you know, be a cowboy for a week or whatever. But it's got worldwide interest. And so when somebody says to me that, you know, we may not be big in the European market, I have to disagree, because I think it has a worldwide draw. The cowboy way of life is that everyone's envious of that. Everyone wants to be a cowboy.
Absolutely. You know, my grandfather went to high school in Glendale High School with John Wayne, and at Glendale High School back in
Yeah,
the day. Not only was he Elizabeth Taylor's booking agent, talent manager, and Mickey Rooney's, but he also went to school with John Wayne. And so
yeah,
John Wayne played linebacker for USC, and he was out in the parking lot down there at the university. And one day, some producer saw him out there and says, "Hey, come here, buddy." He says, "Man," he says, "you look like a great cowboy." And that's how John Wayne got his start in the motion picture industry, just like that.
yeah.
And so,
Yeah,
yeah, the
well,
group.
I'm a friend of one of John Wayne's nephews, so I'm looking forward to having him interview him on my radio show. So he's got a lot of John Wayne stories to tell as well.
Yeah, that's great. You know, back in those days on those sets, they had a full bar and catering. And, you know, now in the motion picture business, you've got to be clean and sober. So I don't know how those guys made all of those films when they were drunk.
Yeah, they did pretty good.
Yeah, he told me John Wayne used to drink 2/5 of Jack Daniels every day.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah. Okay, so we can get you some of these investors and get this completed project up, this interview, and you can shop that around as well. And so
Oh, sure.
we have a couple of more points on there. Now, you're author. As an author and a writer, you have books that are published, and they're award-winning books. You have the Echoes of Freedom book. You want to talk a little bit more about that?
I sure will. Yeah, I've written like 4 novels. And then just recently, or the last 6 months or so, well, I released my last novel called Dakota Wells about 3 months ago. And all of my stories have Western flair to them. The Dakota Wells is about a Texas family that starts in the late 19th century and takes it all the way up to modern day time, follows that family and the things they go through. And then once that was published, I have a bunch of poems that I've written over time, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to do a book of poetry. Just kind of was killing my time while I was waiting to hear from a certain investor, on the Freedom film. But so I wrote this poetry book. It's got 100 poems, and they're all Western related. I talked about subjects like, love and death and perseverance, all kinds of subjects, and then poems about them, poetry about them. And I wrote several poems about my life with the cowboy and several about him in particular and about our life and the raising the bulls and living on the ranch and everything. So I call it Echoes of Freedom just because my first book was called Freedom, and I thought this is all really about freedom. So I like the title, Echoes of Freedom.
That's absolutely fabulous. You got several books out there. And then so I will also want to talk about your website on Facebook, Friends of Freedom, and how do people connect with you on Facebook and your Friends of Freedom, support your books, support the Freedom Project, support your websites and all that. And, in continuing of your family legacy and stalking bulls for the PBR and the Western way of life. Yippee-ki-yay, I love it. And so how do we find all that?
Yeah, let me talk a little bit about my life as a stock contractor for the PBR. This was in the late 1900s, like 1998 and through about 2007. And at the time, really, I was kind of unique. I was one of the very first and only female stock contractors. So it took a little bit of perseverance, and stubbornness for me to hold my own in that sea of men. But I did. I mean, I was the backbone behind the bull business. We were called Rocking A Rodeo, and I financed all the bulls. My partner, had the knowledge. He knew what he was doing, how to breed and raise rodeo bulls, and he taught me a lot along the way. But I was a huge part of what would happen there with our rodeo stock and stuff in the PBR world. And let me see, I lost my train of thought.
Oh, that's okay. We're talking about the film and continuing your family legacy. Now, I want to talk about another friend of mine, Rocky Reynolds, up in Montana. He's going to be an actor in the film, and I love Rocky. He's a great-looking cowboy face, with 10-gallon hat and that, the big handlebar mustache. I think that's going to be a great film. So if we get the money for your film, we get some production going, you'll get me in the film, and I can do some roles with Rocky Reynolds, my buddy Rocky, right?
I got a good spot for you. Yeah, we'll put you in a barrel. You can fight bulls.
I think that'll be absolutely fabulous. I'm looking forward to it. And so just a quick station identification break. My name is David Monroe, Marilyn Monroe's nephew. Marilyn Monroe Show, Jess TV in Lethbridge, Canada, tremendous project with global distribution. Tune into Apple TV, Fire TV, Android TV, SSH 101. Roku TV and the NCG Television Network in Lethbridge, Canada. That's www.jessfm.ca or jessfm.ca. And so your website, Friends of Freedom on Facebook, people can subscribe to that. And, they can see all of your projects on there, all of your interviews on iHeartRadio, all of the different celebrities and influential people that you bring on the radio show, and also about your books and your movie and the whole nine on freedom, the upcoming event on Freedom Day in Oklahoma. So everyone can take a good look at that. You want to tell people about your websites and things, Anita, please?
Well, my Facebook page, if you just Google my name, you'll find me all over, but you'll find the Facebook page on there. And if you come on my personal Facebook page under Anita Waggoner, you'll be able to join the page I call Friends of Freedom page. We have about 5,000 followers on there, and they seem to get a kick out of me keeping them updated on what's going on in the Western world and rodeo world, and great response for that. And then I have a website for my film, Freedom, which is www.freedommovieproject.com. It has everything you'll need to know about the film, including all the investment information. And we have a lot of Western influencers that are ready to do walk-ons and stuff. You know, people will recognize these names of famous older bull riders and stock contractors and rodeo announcers. They're all excited about the film, and they're ready to have a walk-in scene or whatever. They're going to help us with that too.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a blockbuster project. Looking very forward to it. Looking forward to being in the film. And so now I also promote, Samir Kibsmendi's Oscar Luxury Gala event. And so this year that's coming up on March the 2nd of 2025 at the Universal Sheraton, Hilton, and all that down there, where they have the big entertainment gala. Now that's very interesting because my grandfather back in the day was the guy who put together all of those big fancy red carpet sit-down dinners.
Wow.
And at his galas, you'd have people like my Aunt Marilyn Monroe, Elizabeth Taylor, Judy Garland, Raquel Welch, Bob Hope, Bing Crosby, Jimmy Durante, the Marx Brothers, Abbott and Costello, people like that would be there. So Samira, I'm a big supporter of her and networking. She gives everyone a chance to do honest business and collaborate and put together film projects and collaborate with entrepreneurs and investors and get these movies off the ground, up and running and producing income and on the big screen. Are you going to be a participant in the Luxury Gala this year? Will you be out here in California?
Well, if I have a special invitation.
Yeah, well, I can get you a ticket. I can get you a ticket, and we can. They have all sorts of food vendors and all sorts of people showcasing their products and things like that out in the hallway before you go into the big ballroom where they have the big entertainment stage and they give out all the awards and everyone sits down and views the Oscars. And so
that sounds like fun.
Yeah,
about that time of the year in February and March, I live in Idaho, but was in Arizona for many years, 29, 30 years. I lived down there too. But I've made plans of going back to Arizona the middle of January into probably towards the end of February because they have so many events going on down there that I'm interested in. From Barrett Jackson car auction to the Arabian Horse Show to a lot of things going out in Wickenburg this time of year. So I'll be ready to get out of the cold weather and head to Arizona that time of year as well.
The Alamo, yeah, and Tombstone, right?
Tombstone, yeah, not the Alamo, that's Texas.
Oh, okay, yeah, all right, yeah, all right. So Tombstone, yeah. So we're down in Arizona, and that's going to be a fabulous project. And so I just want to talk a little bit more about the movie after a brief station identification break. This is David Peace Monroe, Marilyn Monroe's nephew, with Marilyn Monroe Show on Jess TV in Lethbridge, Canada, tremendous project with global distribution. Tune in every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. to the morning show, the Marilyn Monroe Show, with your host David Peace Monroe, her nephew, on Apple TV, Fire TV, Android TV, SSH 101, the NCG Television Network, Roku TV, Lethbridge, Canada, tremendous project with global distribution at www.jessfm.ca or jessfm.ca. And so I'd like to have you run all of your websites down, all of your addresses for your books and your Freedom, Friends of Freedom page, and all of your different links where all of our viewers can find you at, Anita.
Okay, sure. I can do that. You mean right at this moment?
Yeah. Tell all the viewers where.
Well, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram. If you Google my name, Anita Waggoner, you probably maybe I'll amaze you because I'm just all over the internet. So as far as you can find those links really on Google.
Right. And so they just look at Google. So you want to go to Anita
Yeah, just put
Waggoner
my
on
name in.
Facebook.
Just
Friends,
Google my name, Anita Waggoner, maybe Freedom, and you'll come up with a lot of information about my books, my films, all of the social media sites, the webpage for the film, everything really. You find it really easily on there.
Friends of Freedom, and they can tune in to your iHeart radio show at
Yeah.
what times and what dates does that come
Yeah.
on, and where do they tune into that?
Yeah, it's called Russ on the Radio, and it's on KNST 790 AM out of Tucson. It actually we pre-broadcast all of our interviews, but it airs actually in Tucson on Mountain Standard Time, 6 a.m. on Saturday mornings. And so from there, 7 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Eastern, and it's heard across the country. You can also find it online through iHeartRadio Media.
Fabulous. That's a great deal. So I can hardly wait to be in the film, work with Rocky Reynolds, attend some events with you, and hopefully see you out here at Samira's Luxury Gala on March 2nd next year.
That sounds good.
Hopefully we can sit at the same table together, and we can showcase your film, and hopefully we can get you a little booth out there, showcase your movie in front of everyone as well.
That sounds good. We'll try to make that happen.
Yeah, we'll get your books. We can get the iHeart Radio banner up there. Get your radio show. Get my TV show. We can sit there together and showcase together. I think it'd be absolutely fabulous.
Well, I love it. Yeah. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, I just love Samira. And so I want to thank you for coming on the show. Is there anything else that you want to add to that?
No, I have one more thing.
Yeah, please do.
Right after I wrote the book Freedom, and it was kind of a success back in like 2010, I gave it a couple years, and I thought, I don't want to be a one woman author. So I started writing a book called The Gambler, and that took me a couple years. But I'd also had some experience in Las Vegas. I worked as a vice president of an online gaming company for a few years. And so I wrote this book, The Gambler, based also on some of my life experiences. Well, I've also written the script on that. I'm just starting to promote it. And in my heart, I think this Gambler could really be an award winner. So Freedom's my first choice, but The Gambler, keep that in mind as well.
I was looking at that on your Friends of Freedom website, and my grandfather Jack worked on several episodes of Maverick with James Garner.
Okay.
And, they were sitting at poker tables in those old Western saloons back in the day,
Yeah.
gambling, and if you got caught cheating at that gambling table, pow, it was, that was it. Back in those days, if you stole or messed with the man's horse, they'd take you out there in the gallows and hang you in front of the town square in front of everybody.
That's the point I'd like to bring up is my stuff is all modern day. When I say I'm doing a Western, it's not an old time shoot 'em up Western. It's a modern day, what goes on today in the Western way of life. And The Gambler as well. It takes you from the older days, maybe the 40s, 50s of gambling in Vegas, all the way to the new online gaming that goes on today.
Yeah,
modern day for me.
Yeah, the bookies in Vegas, that's my grandfather worked for all those mob bosses out there in Vegas not worked for them, but he worked with them to book
he was
those big,
No, I'm kidding.
he was a filmmaker. He was Elisabeth Taylor's booking agent, talent manager, Mickey Rooney. And then when he had those big luxury, fancy red carpet sit-down dinners, he would have them in ballrooms in Vegas. So he's in contact with the mob bosses that own, the Vegas casinos, and he's arranged all of these big entertainment parties. And he would have Mickey Rooney up on the stage, guys like Jimmy Durante, Groucho Marx, the Marx brothers, Groucho Marx, Jimmy Durante with a big schnoz, Abbott Costello, Who's on First. You had Bing Crosby, you had Bob Hope, you had the USO.
Good old days, all the greats.
Yeah, that was back during World War II, and they used to tour with Bob Hope and the USO and entertain the troops back in World War II and that. So those are the shows that all the veterans and our military and our troops went to, so that they really look forward to that. So my grandfather was a big part of that facilitation process, and it had to do, with Vegas, and because that's where the
Yeah,
shows were at, in Vegas, or in Manhattan on 42nd Avenue and Times Square in New
yeah.
York.
You
Same
know,
thing.
more and more Hollywood's moving to Vegas kind of. There's a lot of movies and stuff and people there involved in the in that industry. So it's
Well,
things are changing.
well, the news is that Warner Brothers and Disney has given the actor Mark Wahlberg
Yeah.
billions of dollars to go out to Vegas and open up new motion picture studio,
Yeah, I heard that.
multi-billion-dollar motion picture studio. So
Yeah.
Vegas is going to be the next Hollywood.
Yeah. Well,
With these,
it's time.
with all these
My
strikes and
opinion.
things, my grandfather worked for all of the studios. He was a legendary, historic
Yeah.
pioneering film director.
Yeah.
Tora, Planet of the Apes. Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, The $6 Million Man, Columbo,
Yeah. Yeah, you got a great history.
Bionic Woman. We gave birth to the Marvel Universe on film in the very first Captain America in 1978 at Universal Studios.
Yeah.
My grandfather built the mechanical shark on the Jaws ride at the Universal City Walk.
Yeah.
So my grandfather gave all of those studios a great name that they have, casting all of the icons and films he directed and giving those studios the great name that they had. For them to go on strike and lean on AI and try to put all these writers and actors out of business, that's just preposterous. And so, so I think,
I hope you take the time to write all that in a book sometime. You've got some good material there.
yeah, I do. I got a great lineage, and for them to go on strike and go through all of this trouble in these studios that my grandfather built, it's really sad for me to look at that. And so, they have a remedy for that, because in Hollywood with SAG-AFTRA and all that, you've got to wait 30 to 60 days to get a paycheck because it goes through so much red tape, corporate administrative and all that. And these guys want to keep all the money. They want to keep all the royalties. They want to steal everything from the artist. And that's just, that's not a good deal.
Yeah.
But Vegas is, Vegas understands it. That's why all the big entertainers and musicians go to the casinos and places in Vegas to book their shows, because when you do the show, you get paid. You don't have to wait, and it's cash.
By the way, I'm going to give the Oklahoma film industry a little boost here too. They're doing a lot of filming in Oklahoma. Some big movies are being made there.
Well,
that's my plan, that I will film freedom in the state of Oklahoma, using the landscape and the local people as much as I can. Yeah.
Bioptic family perspective film. For instance, I do my shows down here in the Starbucks, because about a half a mile up the road from where this Starbucks is located in La Cunana, Flint Ridge, California, is the original farmhouse that my grandparents lived in when Norma Jean was in our care, and her mother was our housekeeper.
Yeah, like I said, you have some great stories.
Yeah, I'll be doing my Bioptic family perspective film, and I'll be filming that location of that home in the film.
Good.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah,
I have to confess, I'm a Marilyn Monroe fan. Have been forever.
So similar to what you're doing in filming your Bioptic in your home state of Oklahoma, there where you started your PBR and your big 3,400 acre ranch, I'll be doing the same thing in my Bioptic family perspective film here in La Cunana, California, and filming the actual house, the true events, how it all actually went down.
Yeah, are you doing a documentary or a feature?
So it'll be a full-length feature film. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I'm working with I'm working with Super Angels Productions and my director Blanca Samparillo. We're shooting a martial arts action film entitled The Boxer right now with my co-star John Ozuna, two-time Guinness World Record holder. He's the next Bruce Lee. So we have 7 martial arts action films upcoming under contract to be made. So we've got movie after movie after movie, back to back to back to back to back. We've got plenty of work going on. So these are building blocks to, create executive producer funds to make these big Bioptic family perspective films like yours and mine. Because my film's going to be $175 million to $500 million budget film.
Oh, wow. Mine's only $5 million,
Oh, well, there you go. But, that's the thing in Hollywood is, Anita, Hollywood does about 40 films every year at
Uh,
175 to $500 million budget,
yeah,
all of them containing A-listers, and they're all jawing at the bit
right,
to get to the top. And
right.
only about a
I
half
think
a
those
dozen.
days are changing personally. The little
Yeah,
independent films, they're the ones winning all the awards after those Hollywood people spend all that money to get a film produced, but
yeah, I
whatever.
mean, yeah, and some of those I'm like, God, did I just pay to see that? That was $175 million budget
No,
film. I didn't even
no,
like
no
that.
kidding, no kidding.
Yeah, I get disappointed. So
I think Hollywood's ready for a story like Freedom, very heartfelt. It brings you back to like Bridges in Madison County, a Thelma and Louise. Mine is going to be a classic that will last forever.
yeah, yeah, I think it'll captivate the world, and it'll give
Yeah,
everyone a lot of lasting memories. And it'll promote the Western way of life
oh, for
here
sure.
in the United States and around the world.
Well,
Old fashioned values, baseball, apple pie, and Chevrolet, red, white, and blue, right?
yeah,
Like Captain
cowboys,
America.
bull riding, and ranching. Yeah. Well, I
Yeah,
really appreciate your time, David. It's been fun, sharing my story.
yeah, you're absolutely fabulous, Anita. Thanks for coming on the show. And once again, this is David Peace Monroe, Marilyn Monroe's nephew. Marilyn Monroe Show on Jess TV. Every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. You can tune in on Roku TV, Apple TV, Fire TV, Android TV, SSH 101, NCG Television Network, and Lethbridge, Canada. Tremendous project with global distribution. And you can also go on the internet and type in, because television's all electronic now, www.jessfm.ca or jessfm.ca. Next week, folks, I am going to be in a film called John Bear Goes to the Underworld. And I'm going to have a director and television producer on the local CW in Texas, Valdez Velasco. He's also a film director. And so, what's great about this guy that's coming up in this film is it follows the ideologies of my family legacy. In the $6 Million Man film, my grandfather created the Bigfoot episodes or Sasquatch episodes. He went into the WWF and he cast Andre the Giant as Sasquatch. And so, this John Bear Goes to the Underworld is about a Mexican legendary folklore character that's half human and half bear, similar to a Sasquatch, similar to the Bigfoot project that my grandfather created back in the day, back in the 1970s for like 10 years. That's all you had, $6 Million Man. And so my grandfather, he had to go out and get Andre the Giant to lay down in hot wax to create the molding for the suit, which Andre didn't like too much, but he did it anyway, and he made a great Sasquatch. So next week, folks, I've got Valdez Velasco, and he's, like I said, a television producer down on a Mexican television station down in Mexico, in the CW down in Texas, right on the border. His film, John Bear Goes to the Underworld, and I'll be starring in that film. He'll be coming on next week. And one more time, Anita, want you to use your closing statement with all of your websites and everything where people can reach you and find the Freedom Film.
Oh, thank you so much. My website for the film, www.freedommovieproject.com. Facebook, just look for Anita Waggoner on Facebook. Freedom, if you add Freedom, Anita Waggoner Freedom will take you to many posts and social media sites I have online. So I look forward to meeting a lot of you in the future, and hope you will join our group.
Okay, you're absolutely fabulous, Anita. Thanks for coming on the show. And once again, folks, you can tune in. This is David Peace Monroe, Marilyn Monroe's nephew, at the Marilyn Monroe Show on Jess TV in Lethbridge, Canada, a tremendous project with global distribution. Tune in every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. to the morning show, the Marilyn Monroe Show, with your host, David Peace Monroe, on Apple TV, Fire TV, Android TV, SSH 101, NCG Television Network in Lethbridge, Canada, www.jessfm.ca or jessfm.ca. And tune in next week, folks. We've got fabulous television producer and director Valdez Velasco from Mexico, and we're creating a film that I'm going to act in, and we're going to be talking about that, John Bear in the Underworld. It's going to be absolutely fabulous. Thanks
All
again,
right.
folks, for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Jess TV every Tuesday night. Who got next?
When you drop that booty down.